Welcome to the Utah Street Banter Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode here on the Utah Street Banter Podcast. I'm Cody, like always. With me is Elisha. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. You know, a little sad right now, but not too bad.
Why are you sad?
Why are you sad? You know, someone that truly brought me into the game of baseball, one of my favorite players, one of my first, ever real favorite players other than, Adam Jones or anybody on the Orioles, of course, Charlie Blackmon retired.
Yeah, he's retiring, right? He hasn't, not officially done,
He's got,
right?
No, he's not going to pull a David Bell in the Reds. Did you see that?
No. What?
David Bell got fired with a week left of the season.
Yeah. Who does that? You can't just wait.
There must have been some argument or something.
Yeah.
But so Charlie Blackmon's retiring. You should go check out his stats. He's had a heck of a career, really long career. The caveman, just always good.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you just imagine that poor guy just got put on some bad teams. You know what I mean?
I mean, you also have to say he resigned.
Yeah.
Same with Mike Trout. I just saw a thing that was telling him he's the longest tenured on one team player in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. I mean, you signed those contracts. If I had to guess, 6 years ago, Charlie Blackmon could have just gone to about any team he wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, but they had Arenado playing third.
That's true.
They
were
Trevor
good for a few years.
Story playing short.
Yeah.
They had DJ LeMahieu playing second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Fuentes playing third and first there. You don't even know who that is.
No, I do know Josh Fuentes.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. But yeah. So just poor dude. But anyway, how's everything going with you? Other than that, pretty good. You're making it. You're a big star now. I mean, you got to meet somebody pretty cool at your football games.
Yeah, so I don't know if any of you are familiar. You know, he pitched for the Orioles for a few seasons there. He wasn't too good. Mike Messina. The other guy's name. So Mike Messina, I didn't get to meet Mike Messina. Don't worry. That would have already, that'd be the clip art for this show. That would be the name of it. That would be all I would talk about if I met. I would make it into a t-shirt.
Right.
So I actually got to meet Mike Messina's brother, Mark Messina, when I called with Black Diamond Sports this past Friday for Mount Carmel football. They played Montoursville High School, and Mark Messina, his son, is the quarterback for the Montoursville football team, and both Mike and Mark went there. Mark was actually all-state when he was a quarterback there,
wow.
And he's actually an alumni of the great school I call home, Susquehanna.
Really?
And yeah, so got to talk to him for a few minutes, found out he is an Cowboys fan like me, so that's always good. But so that was cool. Just someone that you never expect to really meet, and I just got to meet him randomly. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of like when people get to meet your dad, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're the brother of the legendary Cody Jones," which is me, obviously. And they're like, "Well, I didn't get to meet Cody. I got to meet Curtis." But,
yeah. Now, and when people hear Cody Jones, they don't think of you. They think of the Dude Perfect Cody Jones.
Hey, whatever. We're both pretty awesome, so I'll take it. I hear it all the time. I've never actually seen him before.
Well, he does live in Texas, so that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean even on TV.
Well, he's not on TV. It's this thing the kids watch called YouTube. I don't know if you know that.
Shut up!
That's where most people watch us.
These kids and they're computer savvy stuff. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, here, I'll get you my trivia question of the day.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So actually, this past weekend, I found a really old bookstore that had some other cool stuff, and that had a lot of sports stuff in it. And I found a 1989 Orioles game program, like the books that you could get.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they have them anymore. I know you used to get them all the time.
Yeah, I used to collect them every year.
But so it had some pretty cool stuff in it, and I had to look this one up. It wasn't in there, but who was the Orioles opening day starter in 1989?
Oh, dude. 1989. That's a good question. I don't know.
Dave Schmidt.
I wouldn't got it. I'm glad
Dave
I didn't
Schmidt.
guess.
He played for the Orioles from 1987 to 1989. Was a reliever for the majority of the time. Actually, his only season that he really started, the only season he started more than 15 games was in 1989.
Sounds like an Orioles move.
Had a 5.69 ERA that year.
Huh.
But not too great.
He'd be one of our best pitchers this year.
Yeah. No, I couldn't go the year before because it's Mike Boddick or someone you would know.
Yeah, I am.
I didn't want to do that year either because we lost 0-12 to the Brewers.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was actually that 1989 was our second to last opening day in Memorial Stadium.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, because the next year we started off the season in Kansas City against the Royals with Bob Milacki pitching, and then Jeff Ballard threw the last opening day pitch for the Orioles against the White Sox in Memorial Stadium in 1991.
Wow. Look at you with some facts.
And then a few years later, Mike Messina went on a run for quite a few opening days. You know, the guy that I met his brother.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Way to bring that back. Good job.
I will bring it back. You know, Mike, Mark, they're kind of close enough in name. If I say it fast enough, you won't catch the difference.
Yeah, right. You just hear Messina. Right. That's funny. Well, looking into some outside of Baltimore stuff that's going on in the baseball world, we got some teams that have clinched the playoffs, it looks like. So we got the Dodgers. They've clinched. You have the Yankees who clinched. The Guardians have clinched. The Phillies and the Brewers. And it was crazy. The Brewers were the first ones to do it. I mean, who would have thought that, you know?
Well, I won't say it's because they're good. They are good, but it's also because of how bad the rest of their division is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, they are still really good. I mean, they're better than us, but
yeah.
And out of those teams, the Guardians, Phillies, and Brewers clinch their divisions. The Yankees will do it if they beat us. Just one game against us.
Yeah, it's gonna suck to have them do that while playing us.
But another thing I do want to talk about is Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
He had a crazy game.
Yeah, he's
a crazy week.
So he's really struggling this year.
Yeah, he really is. So the game that he made it 50-50, he got both his last 2 stolen bases and his last 2 home runs in the same game, right? Did you see what happened for his 50th stolen base?
Was it the one that they didn't even throw down or anything?
No, it's still. Oh, that is the 50th. That's right. I think it was maybe 49th then. Okay. One of those stolen bases that game, he slid into third, and he barely got tagged. Did you see who the third baseman was? Connor Norby.
Yeah, Connor Norby.
Terrible tag. Kind of helped him. Basically, yeah, he should have been out. So Connor Norby got him basically up to 50 steals, and then out of anyone in MLB, who gave up his 50th home run?
Oh,
our good friend Mike Baumann.
Really?
I didn't even know he was on the Marlins.
I didn't know that.
But Mike Baumann gave up the 50th home run. I thought that was hilarious. The Orioles really helped this man out.
Yeah.
But he's having an insane season. He'll be the first DH to ever win MVP. Yep. And for those, this is what I like to say. People want him to not win it because he's a DH, but his offense is so valuable it makes up for the lack of defense. Because look at his WAR. I don't know if you realized in the game that he did that he went 6 for 6 in. He almost gained a whole win. I think it was like 0.7 wins added to his WAR, which is ridiculous.
Wow, that's crazy.
But you have to think, as a DH, he gets like -2 WAR because he doesn't have defense.
Really?
That is it. The way that it's not that much, but it's his WAR is negatively affected because of his DH. Wow. Because he doesn't play a position. And say Francisco Lindor, who people want to win, his WAR would be benefited because he plays a premier position like shortstop.
Right. That makes sense.
That's enough about that. We don't need to talk about good players because we don't have them.
No, we got one. We had actually
we have two. We have two.
So
Gunnar Henderson and James McCann.
Let's jump into our box scores. We're just going to go into this past weekend series with the Detroit Tigers. Coming into this, the Detroit Tigers are one of the hottest teams in all of baseball. They were sellers at the All-Star break, which is pretty crazy because now they've been hot ever since. They actually traded one starter, I think, right? One starter and then 2 bullpen pieces.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, Kopech got traded out of there.
Kopech was from the White Sox.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Yeah. I'm sorry.
But no, it was Andrew Chafin got traded. He's been doing terrible though. Yeah. Jack Flaherty's been doing good. It is cool. It is interesting to wonder if they hadn't traded away people if they'd be even better.
Yeah. So in this game we have Corbin Burns going against Holton. Yeah, Tyler Holton. Sorry,
the guy they like to throw at the beginning of the games just to screw with everyone.
Yep, they did, and we got a hold of him this time. So we scored 2 runs off of him in the first inning. Pretty great, thank God, because we had Anthony Santander hit a bomb. I love to see that. But the real story I want to really stick on here, especially at the beginning, is Corbin Burns lights out. Did awesome. He goes 7 innings, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, only 3 walks, no earned runs. No runs at all. He did awesome. It was great to see him back, especially because, we really wanted to see him go against a good team. and that's what he did here. Got his ERA back down. It's a 2.95. Love to see that. Anthony Santander, like I said, hit a home run in the first inning. Colton Cowser had 2 home runs, did great. And then, you know who else had the other 2 home runs? Brian,
what is
James
you keep doing
McCann.
that?
I don't know why I keep doing it.
Brian
James
McCann's retired, Cody.
Yeah, James McCann had 2 home runs, just missiles too. I mean, bombs. And so just really awesome to see that we win this game 7-1. We had 9 hits. And another cool thing that I want to talk about is Danny Coulomb comes back. This is his first game back after being on the injured list for about a month and a half, I believe. Maybe longer than that. No, it's longer than that because he had surgery. So, but yeah, he comes back. He struggled a little bit, gave up 2 hits in his inning, but 2 strikeouts, didn't give up a run or anything.
Yeah.
But so really excited to see the Orioles come out crushing this game. Like I said, McCann had a great game. He goes 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Santander 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. But it just seemed like this was hopefully our coming out game.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, when we go back and talk about this, we'll go through all the box scores. But we hit pretty well. I mean, it was just timely hitting is where it wasn't. But at least Friday we got that win and got to go into the weekend series on a positive note.
I know. For me, it felt like we were finally like turning that page because we had the day before. I believe it was the day before is when Santander hit the walk-off home run against the Giants.
Right.
I felt like that. I was like, this feels like a home run that could jumpstart us.
Yep.
And then coming out and doing this to the Tigers after kind of just getting bullied by them last week, it really felt good. Obviously, we know it didn't pan out. But for Coulomb, just to put a timetable on, I know you said he had surgery. He had bone spurs in his elbow. That's what the surgery was for.
Yep.
And he's been out since the Philly series.
Oh, really?
Back in, I think, June.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been out for a really long time. It's great. I mean, we have to remember, last year we had Felix, and he's a god, basically. He's not human. So you can't compare any other reliever to him. And then Cano had his insane season last year. Coulomb was just there with him. He was keeping up, and he was our 3rd best reliever last year. This year, he had been our best reliever up to this point, and he is going to be crucial.
Absolutely, especially coming out of the pen there.
Yeah.
Saturday's game, I was actually at this game. What a frustrating game to be at.
But you got a jersey, a shirt.
I got a jersey. Yeah, we got our Gunnar Henderson T-shirt jersey, so I like that. So coming into this game, I didn't really have high expectations. The Tigers had Reese Olson pitching against us. Had nothing to do with why I didn't have high expectations. Cade Povich was pitching for us, which meant that, in my opinion, we needed to score about 8-10 runs because of the way he goes. But Cade Povich pitched very well. He goes 5 innings and gives up 2 earned, and those 2 earned were in the first inning. So he pitched great. I mean, he had 7 strikeouts in his 5 innings. Seems like he kind of figured out a little bit there. Did really well. Orioles hitting was not there very much. It's just a frustrating game to go through. I'm going to skip most of it and just talk about the end. So coming into the 9th inning, the Orioles are down and 4-2, and we need 2 runs. And so our bottom of the lineup was hitting great. We had Heston Kjerstad up. He finishes the game with 3 for 4. Did an amazing job. But the frustrating part here is we come up, we tie the game. Gunnar Henderson hits a base hit, I believe, or a double to tie the game, a 2 RBI double. And was it a double? I'm trying to make sure I'm right here. Yes, it was a 2 RBI double. Okay, I was there, but it's just a lot of frustrations made me forget a lot now. But anyway, so now we have a man on second and third with no outs. And Mullins, Santander, and Cowser is coming up. They switch pitchers and they bring in Bresky, who's not bad. I mean, not bad. He's fine. But the frustrating part here was we needed anything, like literally anything, a pop out to the outfield, anything. So Mullins gets up, ground ball to second base. Infield was playing in. Jackson Holliday's at third. Jackson Holliday stays at third. They throw Mullins out at first. So now 1 out, man on second and third, which is fine. Here's the only thing that gets me here. Okay, I'm just kind of talking baseball wise. So man on second and third, no outs. Okay. are they doing a double play here if we send him home, Elijah? No. Okay, so say we get a decent lead, right? Ball's hit, you run right when the ball is touched by the bat. You're running, okay? Obviously, you have Gunnar Henderson at second, so he's going to run to third. Mullins is going to run to first. Mullins has a little bit of speed, right? Well, I would say Holiday is one of our top speed guys.
Mm-hmm.
So let him run to home. Let him get thrown out. Say he gets thrown out. Let's just pretend he does, okay? So that means the second baseman backhanded this ball. He has to backhand, make a step, throw home. Could make the play. I'd say it's a 70% chance of getting him out. Okay. All right. But still, 70% chance. 30% chance of succeeding. Okay. So look at those math skills, Elijah. So anyway, say he gets thrown out at home. So now we got a man on third and first. So now let's say Mullins is going to try to do the getting a run down thing, run to second base. They're not going to fool with him because his run means nothing. Okay. So now, again, we have a man on second and third once again with one out now. Got that?
Yes.
We've already forced them to make the play. All right. Then a pop fly to short left. The shortstop for Sweeney for Detroit makes an insane sliding catch and collides with the left fielder, Riley Green. And we don't send him again because he's halfway down the line. All right. So I heard a couple of people talk about this, and a few people, I'm assuming they're not there, was talking about how there's no way you send him here because it's an easy out. If anybody would have seen how far this play was behind third base, it was 130 feet. It's 130 feet in the outfield. Okay, so from home plate, 130 feet. Sliding, collide, throws it off his butt to the cutoff third baseman. All right, so if we would have been tagging, I don't think there's any way you get him. I heard somebody else say, oh, it's probably an easy out. I don't think there's any way. I truly... I don't think there's any way. If he catches it, just the way we're hitting, I think that's our issue. I think the whole reason why we don't send him is our third base coach got a little flustered when he sent Adley Rutschman home and got him thrown out by 10 feet, which I don't know if that was a terrible send because the left fielder, Riley Green, he's not known for his arm. He's more offense first, made literally a perfect throw. Like if he was playing golf, it would have been a hole in one. But after that, we were just playing so conservative. But anyway, we don't score. And then Cano comes in and puts the ball on a tee for everybody, apparently. Which I'm not dissing Cano. He's our best relief pitcher we have. But they were just on him because he comes out in the inning of obviously extra innings. You start with a man on second and he gives up two runs. Couple of things I want to talk about this game before I let you jump in and chime in. A couple of annoying parts was we had a ground ball to first base earlier in the game, and it seemed like there's just O'Hearn just kind of, I don't know if he just didn't creep, like didn't get his 2 steps before the pitch, but he was not ready for it. He couldn't move. And then Jackson Holiday lets a ball go past him, which, you got to body it up. That's one of the dumb parts about baseball sometimes is how that's not an error. But anyway, so a couple of things like that, just the lack of urgency by the Orioles, it seems like it just makes you worried. I know your dad was at the game on Friday night, and he was telling me how the crowd wanted to cheer, like in there, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they were into it. And I think at your game too, like the crowd wanted to get behind the Orioles.
No, 100%.
Not really when I was at that game for me. Like it was like that once we got to the 9th inning and scored the 2. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like a lot of the crowd was just waiting for us to lose. I haven't seen it like that in a while.
Yeah.
Where it was like the lack of enthusiasm, in my opinion. And then one thing that has nothing to do with the game really is where we were sitting, the amount of arrogant Tiger fans was insane. And I'm like, I didn't even know a Tigers fan existed. Like, you don't even go to your own games. You know what I mean? And I'm like sitting here going, never in my life did I think a Tigers fan would. They were as bad as Yankee fans. It was insane. And I'm sitting here going, are you kidding me? Like, this is insane. But anyway, you got anything to say? Did you watch any of that game?
No, I didn't watch that game. It's just, I don't know. It's definitely frustrating. It almost seems to me that there's some different philosophy or something that's happening. I don't know if it's from the coaching, from the players, from all the way up top,
Right.
but it's just there's no urgency. Like you said, our fielding has struggled this season. How about this? This is a stat that I've really been referring to lately. That's just insane to think about. So this year, with runners in scoring position, we are ranked 20th, right? Just on all overall stats, basically.
Right.
We're ranked 20th. Say RBIs. What are we at with RBIs? 16th. That's not good. What about last year? We were number one in almost every stat. We had the second most RBIs. We had the sixth most home runs. We didn't even hit a lot of home runs last year. Second most runs. We were scoring when we needed to last year. This year, it seems like we can't score when we need to.
Right.
When we have runners in scoring position, we're not. If this is how I look at it, if you're a Major League Baseball team and you can't score, unless it's like someone insane or some like a Jackson Holiday, that's a young kid at the plate. There is no shot that if you have a runner on second and third base with no outs or even one out, that you're not scoring at least one run. It's impossible to me because there's so many ways to manufacture runs that we're just not doing. We're looking for the long ball. We're striking out so much.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating to watch. All of our players are striking out so much.
I just feel like in the 10th inning, when they started with a man on second base with no outs, I was like, well, that's one run. Like they're obviously going to get that run in, because
that's how that's the purpose of it being there is they're supposed to at least score a run.
But when we were batting and we had a man on second, it felt like there was nobody even at second base.
Yeah.
Like you're like, this is going to be tough to get this run in. You know what I mean? It's just like the momentum is even felt in the crowd. Jumping to Sunday, so we had Albert Suarez on the mound going against Tyler Holton, who's sort of like another short starter kind of guy. So Albert Suarez just didn't have it, man. He goes 5 innings, only gives up 5 hits, right? But 4 earned runs. Just a bunch of bombs, man. They're just a bunch of bombs.
God, that one in the first inning was crushed.
Yeah. So we had Mullins who hit a home run in the 5th inning, a 2-run home run to kind of put us back into the game. The big thing I want to take, we lose this game 4-3, but let's talk about the good stuff here. Westberg's back. That's huge.
Yes.
Urias is back, which he was one of our hottest hitters. Westberg comes right back and gets an RBI double.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So in the inning that we scored all 3 runs, Urias and Westberg both had base hits.
Yeah.
Urias was the one on base for Mullins' home run.
Yep. So this is going to help a lot. Give them a second, give them time, especially give Westberg a second.
Yeah.
He hasn't played in a long time. He's going to be huge for us in the playoffs, I feel like. Even if he didn't even have to hit that well, even just him being there is a pitcher, is somebody that the pitcher has to stress about.
Yes.
You know
he was an all-star. He is an all-star.
Yeah, he's an all-star.
Yeah.
So, another guy I want to give credit to here, between the past 2 games, Aiken did very well.
Yeah.
I love to see that. As much as I dislike him, we need him. You know what I mean? Not dislike him. I just don't think he's that great. I have nothing against Keegan Aiken personally. But
CNL Perez hasn't been what we needed him to be lately. We need a lefty.
Yeah. Yes. So, like I said, the biggest things I want to take away from this is that Heston Kjerstad had a decent weekend, a decent Saturday. Westberg's back. We have Kauser had a good Friday. And then Urias is back. Danny Coulombe's back. People are starting to come back,
which is what we need.
Thank God, just like we hoped. But you still you can't count on it. You know what I mean? Like a few weeks ago we were hoping they would be back. The one guy that we're a little worried about is Grayson because we don't really hear much about anything going on.
That's definitely a worry. But this game. I will say, not to be the one that if this and this happened, we still would have won. Well, Kauser got robbed of a bomb.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do but laugh about it because Parker Meadows, the center fielder for the Tigers, had I think his belt was even with the top of the wall. It reminded me of like an Adam Jones-esque rob or a Cedric Bell. Like he got up on that wall. That should have been a home run.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do about it? That's when it feels like, I know people joke about the baseball gods, but I swear the baseball gods don't want us to win either because even when we do stuff that should help us, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like we have all these, like we'll have a game like this where I feel like this was a winnable game. I feel like all of these games, the series that we lost,
Yep,
they both were
absolutely.
very winnable games,
Absolutely.
but there's just like, it's either stupid stuff that's happening that's allowing us not to win, or we're unlucky. I think it's just a mix of everything. And
Yeah.
I think we're going to see in the playoffs, we're not going to play well, and this just isn't the season. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's because I know why it's not our season. It finally clicked. We
But
went out and traded for someone. We got Corbin Burns. We should have known better. We can't
right.
do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone coming back from injuries is huge, and Mountcastle is looking like he's coming back very soon, which is going to be
Mhm.
awesome. He's another bat that towards the end wasn't doing great, but we need him.
I say he'll be back. I believe he'll be back for the start of the Yankees series. I would be shocked if he's not.
If he's not, yeah, I don't see how he wouldn't be back before the Twin series. And this is the one thing is you might be looking at who are we sending down. I think it might be time that we DFA Eloy Menace.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, it's going to be Eloy or a Jackson.
No, it won't be Jackson.
Yeah, but you know why? The Tigers, if we go and we have to play the Tigers in the playoffs, some crazy reason.
Yeah.
Okay. The Tigers, every time we had a stretch of like 7 lefties, they put nothing but lefties against us.
Yeah,
we had nothing for them. We couldn't do anything about it. It was one of those things where when they would do that. So what are you going to do now? Is you're going to have Urias and you're going to have Westberg as your second base. I hope not. I mean, even though I don't think like Holiday right now. I mean, if fell out of a boat in the middle of the ocean, he'd land on the island. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah.
But
I do think Holiday's valuable enough. He has better stats in the month of September. Eloy Menace has been unbearable.
I agree with you. I mean,
he's batting .042. His OPS is 190. It's just he's not playable right now, which is the problem. And he's here to do one thing, and that is to hit. He can't play a position, so it's kind of you have. Who else do you have play second base other than Westberg? If you don't have Holiday, you have to have Levon Soto or someone else. And I would still say, overall, Jackson Holiday's probably going to be better than Levon Soto, even though Levon Soto's put up better numbers. Still, I think you trust him enough, and it's never going to hurt. Let's take a step back and be fully honest. The chances of us making a deep playoff run and going to the World Series are very slim right now.
Like 92, 93%.
Maybe 96. I don't know. But I think this is also a very good way to get Jackson Holiday experience.
Yeah.
They kind of threw him in the fire this year because we needed him.
Yeah.
And it didn't really work out. I'm hoping next year. Remember, Gunnar did bad at the beginning. Adley did bad at the beginning. Well, Adley's bad now too, but still, I think you'll take the righty for a righty, and that also just really helps. In a world that, say, we face a lefty starter in the playoffs, you can have other than Henderson, an all righty infield and DH.
Yeah,
because you can have Mountcastle at first, Emmanuel Rivera, or even say you have Emmanuel Rivera at first, or Urias at third, Westberg at second, Henderson, and then you have Mountcastle DHing or something like that.
Yeah.
Because versus a lefty, you don't want to have Colton Cowser, Heston Kjerstad, and Cedric Mullins all in the lineup.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's what you're probably going to see happen because Eloy is just not playable. He also doesn't run. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where I'm just trying to see what's. I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, let's talk real quick. So Emmanuel Rivera. I mean, what a time we've had with him, right? So the biggest thing is with him is he's been in the last 15 games. He's been a 273. Doing really well, 4 RBIs in the past 15 games. But it just seems like when big things, like when you need clutch hitting, he seems to be the one coming through, which that's a signing or a trade that who would have thought? You know what I mean? Like little things like that have really come, to really work out for us. But I don't know what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Obviously. I agree. I think they send Eloy down. Is just devil's advocate kind of makes me wonder, what else could happen, So real quick, I also want to talk about this is I was thinking about this the other day. So what year do you think, how many years does it take for like from a rookie to how many years to
get your eligibility?
Prime? No, to prime.
To prime, I think it all depends. I would probably say to prime would be more 4 years,
I agree.
somewhere around there.
I agree.
I
Okay.
think it all depends on the player though, because you
I
have
agree. That's
you
fine.
have someone
Mhm.
that could peak very
Okay.
early or peak very late.
Okay. So I completely agree. I'd say 4 to 5 years. I agree with
Yeah,
you.
I
So
normally like 2 years before ARB,
yeah.
somewhere around there.
So okay. So let's say 4 years. So we're all gonna get mad if we get kicked out of the playoffs early. I
Yeah.
get it. Okay. Imagine this. Imagine you have Gunnar Henderson, Colton Cowser. Well, no, Colton Cowser won't be one because he didn't go to the playoffs last year. All right, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, let's say even Colton Cowser, Jackson, all these guys that are in
Yeah.
the system right now. Imagine they get to their prime, okay, and they've been in the playoffs every single year.
Yeah.
Yet they probably haven't went far yet, okay, and they're at year 5, and you got a guy who they're getting better and better and better every year, and they have 5 every single year. They have playoff experience. Imagine how good that's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
yeah.
this is where I'm not putting all my cards on this year. Does that make sense to you?
I think we definitely at the beginning of the season we would have put all our cards in this year purely based off of Corbin Burns. But the problem is we've had so many injuries. I think we have to take into consideration with the amount of injuries and the bad luck that we've had this season. We are lucky to not be in 4th place in our division.
Oh, absolutely.
It's insane to me when you look at it. I take this with 100% seriousness when I say we have an MLB All-Star level starting rotation injured.
Yeah.
I think Grayson Rodriguez, Kyle Bradish, maybe not John Means. I mean, he threw a no-hitter. What at his peak is All-Star, and then you still have Tyler Wells. Dean Kramer was hurt at one point.
Mhm.
The only starter we've had that's really been consistently healthy is Corbin Burns and Albert Suarez.
Great.
Like it's been injury city.
Yep.
And we're just lucky.
Oh, I agree.
Well, unlucky and lucky, whatever way you look at it.
So who is your player of the week this week, Elijah?
Mr. Broken knows himself, Jimmy.
James McCann.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, 2 for 3, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. I think he should be our starting catcher at this point. I think Adley really needs something is wrong, and I either say it's a different approach.
Right.
I don't know why. They did something. Something happened.
Yeah.
This has to be fixable. He's too good of a talent for it not to be fixable, because I know earlier you said that you don't want this turned to Matt Wieters. He is bad right now. This isn't just him not being in a slump. This is just bad.
Yeah,
I don't know though.
I agree. I'm going with Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
My man crushed it. Real quick, there's something pretty cool. So he's pitched against Detroit in the past 2 starts. Both right on September 14th, and then just a few days ago on September 20th. He won both of those games. Both of those games, he goes 7 innings. On Friday, he gave up 3 hits. On the 14th, he gave up 2 hits. And on Friday, he struck out 8, and on the 14th, he struck out 7. All right. So what impresses me there is when you go against a team one time, they kind of see you a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And he came out with, just fresh stuff, really dominated. I couldn't ask for anything more. I think he's back. I think he's back just in time. Have your slump in August, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
And let's get going here. Here's what I'm going to say, because I know we're not going to be much longer. As we look forward into the rest of our season, our last full week, right? So we got a 3-game series in the wild card. Okay. We have Corbin Burns going game 1. How do you feel about that?
With him now, very confident. If we play the Tigers, I think no matter what, I would like to say pencil in a win almost.
You feel good.
You almost automatic win there.
Absolutely. All right. How do you feel about Eflin?
Eflin right now, I feel confident enough for him to give us 6 innings.
I feel confident.
I feel confident enough to him to give the ball to the bullpen 6th, 7th inning with less than 3 runs.
Yep. So guess what? We win those 2 games.
Yeah.
Right. So I know Grayson's hurt, but we have Burns and Eflin going in for our first 2 games, and I feel completely confident. Now, if we lose one of those games and we have Cade Povich coming in the 3rd, which we won't, we'll have Albert Suarez.
This is what I'd like to see if something happens there. If we lose a game and we have to go to a game 3, I like to see Albert Suarez start, right?
Okay.
And he goes once, maybe twice.
Right.
But he has a very short leash.
Right.
Out of the pen, Dean Kramer.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
And then this is where you could get interesting with it, and you could follow that up either with a reliever, or if you really, again, season's on the line, you can't worry about the next series. You got to worry about that game. Povich after Kramer.
Yeah.
You
maybe.
follow up 3 starters. That can be insanely risky, but it also could work. Because Povich could be like an elite player. You also think, are we going to pull up someone else from the minor leagues? Like, that could come into play here. Do you have, I don't know. I don't know who, I don't know. Game 3 is, because then also at the same time, say we win those 2 playoff games, who's your game 1 division series starter? Because that's 3 days later. You can't have Corbin can't pitch then.
Yeah.
Corbin's game 2, but he can't do game 1.
Yeah. I mean, I think game 1 of the second series will
Either Suarez or Kramer.
Yeah, it'd probably be Kramer. So I feel, like I said, I don't feel like we're getting kicked out. I mean, we could, but I feel pretty confident in the Wildcard Series.
How about this right now? Right now, the playoff picture has Yankees, obviously, they're the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Then Guardians, number 2. Number 3 is the Astros, who, as of right now, are playing the Tigers. I will say, the Tigers and Royals are very close to the playoffs, and I would not be surprised if we have to play the Tigers in the playoffs. We're either going to play the Tigers or the Royals, because I really don't see the Mariners making a jump or something, or the Twins coming back up, unless the Twins sweep us somehow and come back up. But I think the American League wild card is set pretty much, and we're going to either play the Royals or the Tigers. And against either of those teams, I feel very confident.
Yeah.
After that, not at all, because we either have to play the Yankees or the Guardians.
Yeah. I almost want to root for the Twins to have a great week. I would love to play them. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, I don't think that it's going to be a complete wash. I think there's a chance our team's still decent. I mean, yeah. I mean, everybody wants to cry wolf or just freak out right now. The thing that I gotta say is, here in a week, it all goes back to 0.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So the Rangers were barely over 500 last season. They won the World Series. I'm not saying that.
And they realistically, they were a very similar team to us.
Yeah.
They relied on home runs and stuff. Like you said, it resets to 0. And is it wrong of me to think I'm more confident about us now than I was this time last week recording?
I agree.
I honestly, Craig Kimbrell being gone takes a lot of weight off my shoulders. We haven't even talked about that. That's, for any of you that saw, I made an Instagram, Facebook post and all that, and I put some music to it, and it was just saying thank God for that, because I was at the game on Tuesday, and luckily I left before the 9th inning, because that is terrible. But that's gone now. We don't have to worry about it.
Don't have to worry about him anymore.
Our closer, he wasn't our closer anymore, but I feel confident in the back end of our bullpen in playoff series.
Yep, I agree.
I feel confident in them for 2 games in a row. But after that, it gets shaky. But also, you only need 2 games to start.
The worst thing that can happen in the playoffs is us going to extra innings. Because then we lose.
No, really.
They're terrible.
Well, I say the worst thing that happens to us is extra innings if we're the home team.
Yeah.
I don't know why we can't score in the bottom of the inning either.
I agree.
If we're away, I believe we can hold off a walk-off somehow. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We play the Yankees in the 3-game set this week, and we basically have to sweep them and hope they never win a game again if we want to win the division. It's just not realistic. I would love to see us take 2 out of 3. Yeah. I don't know if that's realistic, but at least if we only take 1, be competitive.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I can hope for.
Yeah. So how many games out are we, Elijah, from getting in the playoffs?
I do not know.
I think it's 2, right? I think the magic number is 2.
Wait, the division?
No.
No playoffs. It's 1.
Is it 1 now? Okay.
For the past 2 games, all we've had to do is win.
Yeah.
That's all we had to do, because the Mariners keep losing. Which I will say that luckily the Astros still have not clinched their division. It's the end of the 8th right now. This is on Monday night. They're about to lose to the Mariners, it looks like. So luckily that kind of last division spot's still not kind of cleared up yet. So we're not late to the party, really. We're getting there, but we're not last.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. You know, one big thing I want to talk about real quick, guys, is this doesn't usually happen to our Orioles, but on Saturday, the Orioles game has been moved to 7:15, and it's prime time on Fox. So make sure you get to watch that. Hopefully the game doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, for
hopefully,
real.
hopefully by then it really isn't a big deal. So, but yeah. I hope next week when we get on here, we have great news. And it's all just hopeful thinking about us making a playoff run. And maybe we can find out something a little bit more about Grayson that I'm
Maybe.
really hoping for. Really, really hoping for.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Do you think we could conspire with a non-playoff team to just drop another player and we just pick them up?
Yeah.
Like, can that happen?
Yeah. That would be
No,
legit, wouldn't it?
that's not allowed because you have to have players added to the roster by September 1st. But it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's kind of just my sports world is just we're floating right now because I obviously Sunday was rough for me.
Yeah,
I know Cody was Cowboys bad loss. Eagles won.
Yeah.
We lost. Orioles lost. It was just it's been rough.
It's been rough, and now your fantasy football team's getting destroyed. So.
Both of my fantasy football teams are getting killed.
Yeah.
My one fantasy team scored like 50 points this week.
If you would have just didn't ever think about sports and just read Harry Potter books or something like that, your life would be so much easier. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I don't know what I'd be doing right now because that's like my job and all I'm here for school
right.
for. Yeah,
right. You're doing we're doing
I'd be working in HVAC.
We're doing book reviews on podcasts.
Book reviews.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
One.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for joining us on another episode here on the Utah Street Banter podcast. Next week, hopefully, it's our playoff edition for our 2024 season. So until then, we can't wait to see you. Thank you again. Remember, we're on Facebook, Instagram, X. You can watch us on YouTube. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Go O's.
See ya.